Right, we are back with another crazy experiment. Most of you would have seen in hashtag 180 where I dropped my resin into dish soap. I got this crazy droplet effect. Now, I'm going from dish soap now to something that's a higher viscosity, and this is clear. It's really thick hair shampoo. So what I'm thinking is if I pour this into this travel bottle, it's quite deep, so the resin has quite a bit of time to work its way down, hopefully, and I can kind of cure it through the bottle and through the shampoo with my light. I mean, this would be handy to keep the lid for storage, so I can label this. Obviously you don't want to go using it for your hair again. Stop rolling, stand up. But what I'm thinking is I need to be able to get them out afterwards, and I don't want to keep tipping the bottle because that's going to create bubbles in the shampoo. So I think I'm going to cut the top of this off just to make it easier for me and easier for the experiment. But you could have a wider neck bottle. I don't know, use your imagination. That will do it. So I'm now just going to fill this pretty much all the way to the top. Now there's a lot of bubbles in there, and I'm thinking that they could be an issue with the droplets going down and maybe touching them and those interfering. So I'm just going to let that sit and get the bigger ones out. So you can see just how slowly these bubbles are rising, which just shows you the viscosity of the shampoo is really thick. And this is what you want. You want that resistance against the resin. So as the resin is sinking, there's that resistance of the viscosity of the shampoo, just stopping it from dropping straight to the bottom, as it would if it was a really low viscosity shampoo. So that is important. Okay, so I think that would do. I'll be waiting forever for all of those bubbles to rise. So now I'm just going to lay my lamp down so that I can shine through that bottle really nicely. So I'm going to start off small and just see how it goes, and then I think I'm going to increase the droplets to a bigger size, and we're just going to experiment and just see what happens. So the tricky part is actually getting the camera at a decent angle where you can see. Okay, here it goes. I'm not going to put the lamp on straight away. I think that will do. I don't know whether you can see that. I'll try and adjust it. You can just see the tip of the resin coming down from the top. See it there? There you go. Now I'm hoping, that really is moving slow. I'm hoping it's going to give us a tail. That's better. It's not giving us a tail, it's just turned into a ball. So now I'm going to turn on my light. I might lose focus. There we go. And just see what happens when it's cured. It is sinking. Is it going to sink faster as it warms or as it heats? So I'm wondering if it's going to heat the shampoo and make it a lower viscosity, but it's not really doing that. It's just travelling, working its way down quite nicely. So I wonder whether the viscosity of the shampoo, if we were to water it down, if we were to use something thicker, what are we going to get? What kind of effects are we going to get? I don't know. Right, let's try and see if it's ready, I suppose. Got some tweezers. Now this is going to be fiddly. I'm going to go in and grab it. Just had a minute and clean that up. I've just got a separate little cup of water just to wash it off. It looks like we've got a perfect ball. An absolutely perfect ball of resin. Just dry that off. That that's crazy. That is perfectly round. Absolutely incredible. So we didn't get that droplet effect, but we have got perfect resin ball. So what if we make it bigger? Look at it go. Look at it. It's the small things, guys. So this time I'm going to squeeze in a really large blob. Well, compared to the first one. And you can see just how quick that is beginning to sink. So I'm going to quickly turn on my light. And hopefully that will cure before it reaches the bottom. Oh, we've got a droplet effect. See that tiny little, I want to say nipple, on the top. It's not really a tail though. It reminds me of something from when I was a child, a head of a character. I can't remember what it was or what it is. Let me know in the comments if you know what I mean. I'm hoping this cures before it sinks. As always, massive shout out to my channel members, anyone who's bought me a coffee or a super thanks. That really is going, isn't it? So I'm wondering, what if we add sparkle, glitters? I don't know, I'm going to have a little play around after this one and kind of see what I come up with, and I will show you at the end of the video. So we've reached a minute. I'm scared to touch it just in case, because it is a bigger blob. I'm going to turn that lamp on and just let that fall naturally to the bottom. It has actually still got a couple of inches to go, so I think I'm going to be okay. You can see some bubbles in that one, unless it's attached to the front of the resin, to the outside I mean. It is so close. This is quite mesmerizing. I think the blue colour actually helps. It's aesthetically pleasing, I think. Oh, I was enjoying that. And we have just touched the bottom. Will my tweezers grip it? Yes. I just let all that fall off. My tweezers are covered. And there we have it. It's like a raindrop, and it really does kind of magnify things. It's really shiny. Really shiny. That is absolutely incredible. So I mean, there are things that you could do with this just as it is, or just as the small balls. You could use them to decorate other things. You could make them into small kind of droplet effect earrings, whatever you like really. But I'm gonna just experiment with maybe bigger, even bigger blobs, and also add in some stuff. So I just went even bigger than the first one. Got a couple of bubbles in there, but that is just because I'm coming to the end of my resin bottle. So this one's almost like a mushroom. And I did that by swirling the resin on top really slowly, going around in a circular motion, and then overlapping where I had already gone, like this, just a few times, and then ended up at the bottom. Now this is probably not going to do it again now. Probably one of those fluke accidents. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to do that again. Well, that one's really interesting. It's almost like a heart with a kind of stone shape. Look at those. So I'm just playing around with just drawing the resin into the shampoo. There's lots of bubbles in there. But I'm going to crack open a fresh bottle of resin. Just try and minimalise those bubbles. So what if we try to do shapes? Now I'm going to do something really simple to begin with. Just kind of spiral that resin on the surface and then turn the lamp on. I think this is going to give us a glass-like, really glass-like effect. And there it is. And the good thing about this is it's rounded on both sides. Well, it's not perfect, but it's unique. Okay, now this one has kind of blown my mind. It looks like there's 2 people or 3 people, or their little balloons and the strands. It's like a mini sculpture. That is absolutely insane. I wish I'd filmed that. So I'm going to try it again and just see what we get again. But that is phenomenal. I could make that stand on something, and with some lights as well. That would be absolutely insane. Look at that. And this is the thing with resin. Nothing's ever going to be the same twice unless you're using a mould and a really easy technique. But with something like this, it is just going to be impossible. So I just really slowly began to work my resin around the perimeter, the outer edge of the tube. So by the time I get back to roughly where I started, it's not really going to be touching as such. But I didn't turn my lamp on straight away. I just kept going round, slowly and steadily. This is why I love experimenting, because you just don't know what you're going to get. That reminded me of Forrest Gump. So now the first layer that I put in is beginning to kind of group together and blob. So now I turned on my light, just finished in the middle, and then lifted out. I'll try and get you at a good angle. Can't really see it this time round because it is so kind of messy. So what happened is the first layer that we put in kind of sinks, and then as it's curing, it's stretching out because it's heavier where those blobs are formed, and it kind of stretches out into almost like a springy kind of thing. And let's see what we've got this time round. Again, it's like a crazy little ornament of people kind of joining hands. It reminds me a bit of those thinkers, you know, the thinkers that have been going around, but in a really crazy shape. So these ones were with a tiny amount of Marabou rainbow alcohol, not too much, just a tiny amount mixed in, and then dropped in Noisy Aeroplane, dropped in the same way. So I think this will be the last one. I've just cut the bottom of my Mylar flake bag to get the smaller pieces out, and I'm going to give that a try and see what we get. Okay, so less is best with the Mylar because it doesn't want to form a droplet, but look at that opal effect. This was another one with just a bit too much, but look at that colour. And then I reduced the amount of Mylar, and we ended up with these absolutely incredible pieces of opal. Play around with it and see what you get. Love this one. Just imagine like a small wire wrap, or incorporating them into different pieces of art. So these are all the pieces. This one's really weird. Looks like a brain and a spine coming down there. But they really are like glass. I think these have to be my favourite. Although they're very strange, they do look really weird. I'm going to try and get some photos on like a light base. I tried some hearts, they didn't really work. Again, they are unique. They're different. The spirals are pretty cool. But definitely my favourites are these mini... Oh, that one stands up. There you go. This one needs a bit of work to get it to stand up. And then the mini opals. As always, give the video a thumbs up, drop me a comment. If you haven't subbed, hit the button for me. Another crazy experiment done. See you for the next one. Bye for now.